Welcome back to Oppo FX Studio. Today we have Scott Pilakowski, who is the consultant specialist in Forex and CFD crypto future field. Bring him to the show. Scott, you're on.
Thank you, Opal. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm happy to have this conversation and delightful to be on. Thank you for the invitation.
Scott, I don't know if my introduction is all right. You are consultant in Forex, CFD, and prop trading, hedge fund, all these fields, right? Can you tell our audience a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. All those things you said are accurate depictions to varying degrees of experience. I've worked in the Forex space for 15 plus years, experience working with a hedge fund, experience working with prop firms, experience working with individual traders, cap raising specialists, kind of a gamut of opportunities across the board. So it's been quite the journey. And it's probably similar to yours in the fact that you want to help people do better, and you want to help people learn the ways they can benefit from this industry and keep them out of the ways that will not benefit them.
Yeah, that's exactly why I invited Scott to the show. Today we are going to talk about prop trading. It's still very popular in Forex industry and recently has some challenge upon it. I want to speak with Scott and then bring the information of the latest challenge and change to see if prop trading is still the future of Forex industry.
Oh, absolutely. I think with anything, it's like the wild, wild west of what Forex used to be 15 years ago, which means everybody wants to do something along the lines of, hey, this person's making money. I can do that too. Let me jump in and try it. And I think that's been a large detriment to clients. Underneath that, the experience in retail clients and assuming responsibility for losses and things like that's hard if they don't have any experience to begin with. And so what a prop firm offers you effectively is the ability to do different things. Like, for an example, if you were looking to put $10,000 in margin, you'd have to have $10,000 to put in a broker account. In a prop firm, you can spend significantly less. Let's call it $90, $50, whatever the average basic challenge is, for $10,000 in a demo account on margin. And if you do win and you go through the challenges, at least the first two phases with most firms, you'll get a payout. And that payout will be 9 times the return of your investment. Those are significant levels of return. Those are like crypto level returns. And so it's kind of brought a feeding frenzy to the marketplace.
Obviously, the challenge is not easy to pass. From your experience, how much is the actual passing rate?
Probably around 5 to 10%, depending on the rules. And that varies between experiences of traders.
What's the percentage of people actually can get the payout?
You're going to have a small number of people that pass from phase 1 to phase 2. And then as you continue scaling up that ladder, that percentage decreases from their ability to pass. So it's definitely challenging. People who actually do pass the challenges tend to fail the later stages of challenges. They made what's called house money. So let's say you had a $10,000 account. You made your 10% to get paid. You get paid 90% of that, let's say, with most firms. So you get $900 back. And then lots of people will reinvest that $900 taking challenges, trying to pass and pass and pass again. The average person in a prop firm takes between 4 to 5 challenges, some more and some a little bit less. But if they win, they tend to reinvest that and try to get more money and try to take the higher scale challenges because they're confident that, having gone through it now, they can pass at least the initial stage of those challenges.
But you actually see people try and error and in the end become consistent trader in prop trading.
Very few. Those are called your diamonds in the rough, because the game itself from prop firm space isn't set up to really kind of educate you in the process of what a real good return is in the financial markets, right? So if you're looking at a hedge fund style return, you're looking at a 20, 30% per annum return with maybe a 10% drawdown. In prop firm space, that's like, no, I need to get that in a month. They turn it into like a glorified online casino instead of actually trying to trade the financial markets, trying to improve their skill set, trying to make themselves better as a trader. They just chase the dollar. And that becomes the detriment to a lot of these people.
So would you say people in prop firms are having more gambling kind of mindset?
If you have a prop firm space, you don't have anybody supporting you. You don't have a hedge fund behind you. You don't have a family office behind you. You don't have some greater scale that the prop firm client can aspire to. Then to me, your rules are arbitrary. You truly are really a gambling casino, because why do you have arbitrary rules if you don't have anything at the end of the day that they can benefit from? Kind of like going from high school to college, from college to a master's degree. We could refer traders to hedge funds. We could take the elite traders who wanted to be elite traders and take them out of the equation and put them on live accounts with hedge funds or family offices, because those traders have shown you the ability that they can stay on the high water marks. That's really what this is all about. It's not about their ability to trade. It's about their ability to manage risk. And if they don't make the transition to risk manager, they have a really hard time, period, of passing these challenges.
Let me step back to what you say. There are some prop firms try to get the people sign up and fail. And then some of the prop firms, they actually have family office and hedge funds. They are more looking for the good traders. It's fair to separate two categories of prop firms.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have been in the financial industry long enough as well, and you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, especially from a broker space, right? You have your brokers who are your major pillar type, top tier brokers who have been around a long time. You have confidence in those, so you will take investors and traders to those. If you have newer ones and they're maybe offshore brokers, or maybe you don't know them as well, you're a little hesitant, based on experience. But doing a prop firm now, I mean, it's like the modern day gold rush, right? So you and I can go out and spend $20,000 and buy a prop firm in a box with no experience.
For the prop firm, there's no anywhere regulated, right?
Nope.
So how do the traders choose a prop firm then?
Well, if you take it back a step, you have to figure out and identify in a regulatory eye what a prop firm actually represents, because ideally they don't custodian funds for clients. You just pay for a challenge. So they usually have a third-party vendor paying you out, because it's not the prop firm itself paying you out. So they write on their rules, terms, and conditions as well that they're not a broker. So if you're not a broker, you're not brokering, what exactly are you? So for example, on your broker websites, you'll go into the sections of who are we, for an example, and it talks about the people, shows their picture, their experience. And in this case, most prop firms do not do that. Most prop firms are veiled in secrecy. There's not a budget that you have to come in with. That's the dangerous part, right? So that's when they play the flash and flare game of, let me do a 60% discount. Let me do all these different things to try to get you, the consumer, through the door, because that marketing budget makes their budget to be able to pay out traders. Remember, these are all demo accounts. And the one thing that MyFF blew off the top was people from a firm perspective, they weren't talking about trading on demo accounts, especially retail traders. They thought they were trading on live accounts. They were trading, in fact, demo accounts. And so if you're paying out people on demo accounts, the common denominator with anyone with any sort of experience is, well, wait a minute, if I'm making money on a fake account, how are you able to pay me out on your end?
Yeah.
That's the question, right? And so if you're not copying my trades, if you're not doing something with the data on the backside of that, if you're not able to mitigate the risk somehow, how are you able to pay me out? Well, that comes back to how the origin of your ability to make money in your firm, your business. How do you generate money? People coming through paying for challenge.
When there are companies telling us after you've done well, they will set them up to hedge funds, family office, these kind of promises. How do traders confirm this?
For example, you as an influencer in your space, and we're doing this video right now, a podcast, to spread out information to the people because you want to benefit those people. And at the same point in time, traders want to do the same thing. They have families, they have friends, and now they're doing the same thing on Twitter and social media platforms. And, they're trying to show their trading certificates and managing $1 million on demo account kind of thing. And they're then taking a sequence of people and they're going to them, right? Because now they think, oh, well, Scott passed this challenge and he must be great. I'm now becoming a trading educator. I'm my own influencer. I'm my own network. And now pretty soon I open up my own prop firm and I bring people in. And see, to me, that's called a conflict of interest, because what happens to the people who aren't able to pass those challenges, you're still taking money from. You're still taking money from them. You know that the failure rate is exorbitantly high. So if you're not getting a high challenge passing rate in your own prop firm, what does that say about you? So you're just monetizing is all you're doing. You're just monetizing the name. And to me, that's wrong. If you don't have something of substance, then you shouldn't be in the space to begin with. And if I'm, backing it up one step, the reason I got involved in the first place was because there was a hedge fund behind it. And so what I wanted to do was give the average person out there, a retail trader who's stuck in a 9-to-5 job in a cubicle somewhere that's not really happy with life, saying, I want to do something better for my family, but how would I get in front of a hedge fund? How would I get in front of a family office? They have no idea how to do that. There's not a path forward in that direction unless you really do know somebody internally in that space that will say, oh yeah, I've seen your track record, it's good, let me introduce you. Short of that, this is your navigation into that capacity, is taking these prop firm challenges. What does every hedge fund or family office want to see? And you have this experience with your family offices as well. Can you stay on the high water marks? Can your profit continue to go bump, 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 bump without going off a cliff. That's what these trading challenges do, is you have to stay on your high water marks, because if you don't stay on your high water marks, you fail the challenge at the end of the day. This is an exercise for the average person to say, is this for me? Am I a trader? Do I have the kind of requirements to be a trader? Do I have the personality? Do I have the profile to do it? Okay, let's say you spent $90 on a challenge and it's not for you. Well, that's okay. That's you walked away with a cheap kind of educational value to say, it's not for me. Let me go find something else that is. And if it is for you, well, great. Well, now you have these qualifying rules and ability to get to the end of the line and continue to graduate up and progress in your new chosen field to be successful in your endeavor. That's a phenomenal experience that most people don't get. So I'm happy to be able to be a conduit to that.
The things you do now is to make sure the prop firms also have family office, liquidity, and hedge funds behind. So to make sure that they are sincerely looking for the good traders.
If you don't have something of substance behind, because again, it's like my FF, for an example, they didn't take the risk into effect until way too late in the game, right? And so then they got greedy and they made $150 million on client accounts. And then if everything that has come out in the court cases is true, they slip clients on purpose. They internalize their own liquidity on purpose to make sure they could slip clients who are winning.
Yeah.
And if you just step back from that, on that website that they have or had, it doesn't talk about all of the ways that they're going to do those things to you on the end of the day. They're talking to you about how they're there for you and how they want you to succeed and all these great things they're going to be able to do because, you're successful. We're committed to your success. But on the backside, when they had the chance to really verify and prove that, they weren't. They were slipping people. They were basically essentially robbing them and taking their money. And why? Because the bandwidth of people started to pass were worrying them. It was cutting into their bottom line. They had no means of that ability of time to hedge it or modify it.
Yeah.
So what did they do? They got caught. And that's horrible. The character of a company and the people running the company do matter, because those are the people responsible for the direction of the firm, which is also the direction of everyone that's associated with the firm. And so if those aren't high character individuals that have a proper plan and experience in the space, the rest of them pay the price. And ultimately, that's what happened to their clients.
What the prop firm doing in the back is so important for the traders, actually. I mean, it's all down to, if they are good managing their risk, everything will be running smoothly, no matter the trader win or lose. But if the prop firm doesn't manage the risk in that side, they will do everything to make sure they lose, because the payout is paying out from their own pocket.
Yes.
So, wow.
I think if you are in the space and you know the bad things about the space, no different than any other industry, you have a job and a moral kind of aptitude that you need to apply to change it. And if you are in a position to change it and help clean it up, you absolutely should. And anyone who is basically working in a prop firm, any firm, and I would say this to any firm CEO, that is just working on a marketing budget by itself and has no means to cover the traders other than that, you're unethical, you're immoral, and you shouldn't be in the space. So, because ideally you're opening up your own casino, you're actually needing people to lose. And so it's a contradictory to put on your website all the different things that you're trying to do to help them pass, yet you want them to lose. You need them to lose, because if they don't lose, you don't have the ability to pay out clients. So you can't have it both ways. It's one or the other. Either you want them to win, you have a greater kind of a scale system that they can go in, because at the end of the day, the prop firm space on the good side has blown up to the degree that you've seen now traders who have changed their lives. Literally, people have changed their lives who are good at it, and got $10,000 payouts and so on and so forth. But those are the few. We're talking about the many. Is your dream as an aspiring trader with no experience any less significant than the person who's passed 10 challenges? No, it's not. You should have the same equal right to get to that same level of opportunity as they do. So if that is not freely and fairly given to you, and basically I call that the right to choose to be trading and win or lose on your own merit without a prop firm's participation in helping you fail, then it's wrong.
When we are working in a project, first thing Scott is looking for is, where do you have the liquidity when there's payout? How do you do the risk management? Where do you bring the traders to if they're successful? So I think that's our common goal, to make the industry in a better way. So I want to talk a bit about American clients. A lot of prop firms now stop taking American clients. So what do you think about that? Is that going to affect the industry a lot, affect the prop firm's profits? Is that going to be going down the whole industry? What do you think?
Nah, the industry is here to stay. With the US client, I think they feel slighted. This is largely because of the MyFF situation. This is coming from the CFTC. If you allow US clients access to trade on exchange, which means live, or off exchange, which means demo, CFDs. So your Dow, your NASDAQ, and all those kinds of things on a broker scale, US clients like myself are not allowed to trade. So if you are a firm allowing us those instruments to trade, you're technically in violation of that. That opens the door for the CFTC to come in, like they did with MyFF, and say, hold on, we have a problem here. And you're exposing US clients to those things which are illegal in the US for them to trade. So the domino effect from that is all these other prop firms said, remove US clients. And US clients for MyFF was one of their biggest target audiences. So yeah, it definitely hurts prop firms from not being able to market into the US space. So US traders have had to pivot and go into the futures platforms, because futures, we are allowed to trade on exchange, off exchange, and into the CFD space as far as Dow and all that kind of fun stuff. So all those instruments are available to us in the futures.
Mm-hmm. How about the Metaco situation? A lot of brokers don't let prop firms to use their service now. What is it all about?
MetaQuotes is a different game, right? Most prop firms do not have a license for MT4, MT5. So it was their ability to come in and say, wait a minute, XYZ prop firm, you don't have a license to pursue and to market us. So if you don't stop doing that, we're going to cause problems. We'll just pull licenses from the brokers then that you're affiliated with. And then the brokers are like, they have a choice at that point. Do they choose with the clients that they have that's actually making them money through their volume and their liquidity of client? Or do they take these prop firms who are trading on demo accounts, which they're not really getting anything for, other than the exposure of having their name out there? Easy choice.
There are still a lot of prop firms provide the NT4, NT5. How do they do it?
They have a license. Right. And they have a regulated environment to plug it in, which, MetaQuotes probably has the ability to say, you know what, prop firm space, there's a lot of garbage there and we're going to help clean that up. And so they can start threatening to pull licenses and push people towards regulation or push people towards regulated broker relationships. They have the ability to do that as well.
So is it fair to say Metaco is really actually helping the ones who are able to obtain the license? At least they are, I think, more financially sound.
I would encourage anyone that takes a prop firm challenge, go to all your different social media points, Instagram, Twitter presence, X now, Facebook, and they'll go to all these different touch points to include your Discord. And what they want to see is they want to see if there's any complaints. They want to see if the people are getting paid out, if there's any proof of payout. So people have become smarter since MyFF, and they're being more educated in the market because now they know some things to look for to qualify their confidence level of participation with you as a firm. And if you don't have those things, you're going to really struggle to gain any sort of market influence because people are going to be skeptical about your ability to pay them out. And at the end of the day, the transfer of trust comes with the debit card or the credit card that comes across that they pay for their challenges with. And once they slide that card and said, I've paid for this firm to take a challenge, the firm then has, I think, a fiduciary responsibility to do right by the client. You can say that I'm not housing, or custodying their funds, but you actually are. You're putting it in your pocket. And if you're doing that, then you owe them a service and you owe them the best you can give them. You don't owe them let me see if Scott fails so I can pay out Opal. That's not the approach. The approach should be the character of the person behind it. If you can walk back to the biggest financial scams in the industry, largely, many of those were fully regulated entities with people behind them. The one commonality of that is they got greedy. And so, when I'm in a prop firm space and I've seen this all the time, well, we're going to have this discount. It's going to be a 50% discount. And then on top of the 50% discount, I'm going to pay you 125% of your deposit back if you were to pass the phase 1 of the challenge. And if you just stop it right there from a business perspective, how would you do that if the first 10 people in your firm passed? You'd be bankrupt. You wouldn't even have a firm. And so, I've tried to tell people this. Why do some of these firms give you 500 to 1 leverage or some crazy number of leverage and lot sizes for you to trade? Well, that's simple. They know metrics and they know the scale of metrics and percentages is you're going to fall in line with chasing trades. You're going to open up your first 1 lot trade. Oop, the market's gone against you a little bit. You panic. Now all of a sudden you're following and chasing that trade with a 50 lot trade because you want to close it. Well, now that goes against you further and then you blow your account. What do you do after you blow your account? You buy another challenge and you go again and you go again. And then they put people in front that says, I'm a Forex guru, kind of follow me and I'm going to help you. I'm going to help turn you around. Here's my support networks. That's the lesson this market teaches you. This is not your friend. What you have to realize is the market is not there for you. You are trying to find a niche in the market because you can compound the niche in the market when you find your trading edge. So most traders will take a trading strategy. They will fail a challenge and they'll skip that trading strategy and they'll go on to a new one, and they'll continue to chase until they find the holy grail, if you will, which the holy grail is it's not anything other than yourself. It's discipline, it's focus, it's determination, but it's within you. It's not something you're going to go find and apply to the market other than what's inside of you that is then wrapped around a trading strategy and then go forward. But that's the disconnect currently.
Scott, it's very good to do this kind of encouragement calls.
Well, it's my job when you're working with people, especially if you're in the prop firm. When they slide across, it doesn't matter what the challenge fee is that they pay for. They should expect in return some qualification for help and support in their endeavor and their goals that they want to achieve. It's just really that simple. And being a good human being, you should want to do that for them. And it's not about, if you're the owner of a prop firm, you should be out front because they choose you as someone that represents them. And they also represent you out into the market, in the space. They might come across whoever they come across in their trading communities or in their networks, and their experience with you matters. And that reverberates through their networks, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. You want to be the best experience possible, but you want to be holistically true. You want them to know, I'm here for you. I'm not just here collecting your $20 or $100. That's insignificant. I'm here as a protector and a visionary that's going to help you down this path to accomplish your dream one way or the other. Because if your dream happens to be the financial markets and maybe it's not best suited for you, we're going to help you find that out. And we're going to put you on a path that is something that you can follow through with in a different walk in your life. And we're going to push you that way because that's going to help you be a successful human being at the end of the day. That's what this is about. And the people who have the skill set to trade, great. We have other resources for you as you scale up to help you and benefit you.
Really, the problem you are talking about exists.
I think it's dependent upon those who are in it, right? So you are who your friends are is the common saying. And so if you are in a prop firm and you're working with people who are like-minded in that approach, the prop firm is going to be profitable. If traders lose, there is always that scenario. But that doesn't mean you aren't authentically doing the best thing you can for the clients to help them ascend to the levels in the communities that they want to get to. So for example, a hedge fund. And I've had actual prop firm guys tell me this very successful. If I can sit home and trade my underwear and I don't have to answer to anybody, why would I want to trade for a hedge fund? Good question. I don't have an answer for that. It's dependent upon you, right? And your personal goals and ambitions. But I can say this. If the prop firm regulation comes through and makes sweeping changes throughout the industry, we don't know what that looks like. That might inhibit your ability to continue becoming a superstar on the dime of prop firms. You then would have to trade or hopefully have made enough money to then transition into live accounts and trade at brokers. That's what I would do. Yep. I would take my winnings from a prop firm. I would then go into a brokerage. I would put my money there, and then I could trade according to my own rules and my own skill set and benefit that way. And I would just use the prop firm as a conduit to make outsized gains to put back into my real live account. That's
a good suggestion. I think a lot of traders already do that. You don't only rely on one source. What we say in investment, you diversify. So, I think we covered what I meant to do today, but I still have a lot of questions, and these industries always change. I expect to see Scott again in our future podcast.
Well, I will say this, knowing what I know about Opal, anyone that's watching in her channels and her network who's looking for a responsible and ethical IB to participate with brokerages, this is a person you want to talk to, no matter which region you happen to call home. She has relationships with key major brokers. She has relationships with those behind the scenes. She's able to help support that endeavor as well. So if you have that kind of need, then she's a person that can help you get the best deal from a broker. So if you don't have the experience, definitely
Thank you. Wow, I got a free advertisement.
Yes.
Thank you, Scott.
Yes, you did.
Thank you for your time today.
No problem. Thank you,
I'll
Opal.
see you very soon again, I believe.
Okay.
Thank
Hopefully,
you.
anytime.
Bye.